Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the 40th anniversary. This is Autobot Blaster and Steel Jaw. So this is a reissue of the Generation 1 mould in the cartoon accurate colour scheme. So in this video we are going to open him up, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We'll have a quick look at him in both of his modes as well to help you decide how you want to display him. And then because he's Blaster, we've got loads of things to do. We can compare him with his original G1 self. We can then have a look at other uses of the same mould to see again how different they all are. We can bring in some mainline figures as well, just to see how different he is to that, as well as some masterpiece versions of this particular figure, and as well as bring in some of the more cartoon accurate deco display figures, again, to see how they all look together. So as you can see, loads to get through with this video. So as I start to pop all these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if they'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really does help me out. And indeed, thank Robot Recruits, the online store, which is where I purchased this figure from. Okay, let's start off with the packaging then. So this is good and bad for loads of people. For me, I'm not too fussed. It's bad because obviously they did the amazing artwork in these retro reissue boxes for the first few figures. They've changed back to the original G1 style of packaging, but what they've done, I suppose, is good for some people, is they brought the windows back in. For those people wondering, this is the Generation 1 box, and again it looks like, yeah, these for some reason, the reissues, you can't really see unless I lift it up, are a few millimeters bigger. And if you wonder why I'm telling you that, it's because obviously if you want to put them in these display acrylic cases, they won't fit, so you'll need to give them new dimensions. It's the same height, but the width again is different. That's the original G1 box, this is the newer one, so just be aware of that. If you are looking to buy, keep it sealed in box and put on display in a case. Right, let's have a look at the figure. In fact, quickly, let's look at the back. Interesting thing with this is, oh no, they've gone with the 85 battle display, which of course is when Blaster was released. There is still the infamous red tracks. We've got Shockwave and the Dinobots, etc. We've got tech specs there for anybody who wants to read them. They can pause and read that now, and for Steel Jaw they can pause and read that now as well. I've got a Steel Jaw at hand as well, just to see how different he is. And this line, in honesty, it's the first reissue line I've ever brought. I mean, they obviously did the reissues, I think in 2010, they did the Takara book reissues, and the only one of the Takara book reissues I brought was the Starscream, because funnily enough, it was a cartoon animated deco like this. So you can see he is completely tied in. What I'm going to do now then is very quickly just set him free from his packaging. Right then, so I've set him free from the packaging, all the accessories are there, and I just want to take this very little opportunity just to, I suppose, clear a few things up and to, I suppose, reassure a few people. So these are identical use of the molds. They're exactly the same figures. The only difference here is obviously the colours on them. So where there's metal bits in here, there's metal bits on this. There is no other difference. I know a lot of people with especially the Seekers thought that they were all plastic, where that's not the case. They still had the die-cast parts. The other thing that I get asked quite a lot is, where are the stickers for these? There are no stickers, and that is intentional again, because what they're going for is cartoon accuracy with this. So when he's in robot mode and the stickers on the shoulder here, like you can see pretty much on that one, there is no actual stickers on this. Again, that's because they're looking for cartoon accuracy. I'm just going to do a couple of quick side to side, back to back, etc., so you can see the difference. And again, I like these. I like the fact that yes, they're basic, but mostly pretty much everything there is of course tucked up nice and neatly without any huge gaps. This seems to have been like a fan mode that's sort of come from nowhere, to be honest, about using the gun as an aerial. I think it was more used on the newer figures. I don't ever recall seeing it on the original, but please do correct me in the comments if I am wrong. So that, of course, there's not much more to say about the tape display or the tape deck. The best thing about this for myself is because it's been so many years since I've actually had a Blaster, where I can press this button here, there we go, and have no fear whatsoever about the fact that it is going to break. So here is Steel Jaw in his cassette form. Again, there's the cassette at the front and at the side, to be honest. There's teeny tiny slight off colour matching there on the legs, but it's not really that noticeable, and it is definitely the Blaster's chest. So what I mean by that is you can just fit the one cassette in whereas with the twin cast and indeed the shattered glass blaster, it was much bigger. It had the extra, see how there's an extra flat bit there compared to where it just folds down. So this will definitely only fit the one cassette in. That does look good in there, and as I've already said, it's nice to be able to just press this without any fear or trepidation of breaking. See the spring in there, the spring loaded, that always tends to get damaged. So yeah, don't overplay with any of this. Right, before we go into the robot mode, then let's have a look at the cassette. This transforms very simply. Let's just fold the legs down like so, pull the back apart ever so slightly. This will now enable you to fold out his tail and indeed fold out the other feet as well. You can then tuck the head back. This will reveal, sorry, tuck the mane back. I'm going to call it a mane. Reveal the head, and then of course you can pull that out. This looks pretty good either way, to be honest. Compared to the original, it obviously is very, very different. Color scheme is very slightly different, but not too much. Obviously this guy's got a rub sign, and the weapons with this are all chrome. Now that's okay if you've got some good chrome. If you've got bad chrome, it doesn't look great. So again, another reason why I like this is there's no chrome. They're not going to start to fade, they're not going to go dull, and they're not going to chip off. So I like the look of these. I think it works really well, to be honest. Let's see if I can get him to balance. Oh, there you go, no problem. Let's have a quick look at him in robot mode then. So I haven't done this in years. Let's hope I get it right. It looks like you just separate this here. This will then indeed let you allow to fold the legs out, fold at the knees. Yep, this all rotates out. Keep that gap. You don't need to close it up. Keep that gap. It does say to keep that gap in the instructions and on all the display ones you'll see. It's up to you, to be fair. I think sometimes it perhaps looks a little untidy. It would be better if obviously it was a knee bend and you could bend up, but you can't. Collapse that down. This fits all neatly into the side of the leg. Fold out the feet. Now the arms, be nice and careful with, but you can see the grooves and indentations there. So pull it out ever so slightly. Rotate it round. Slide down the forearms, slide down your fists, rotate the fists 90 degrees, and then slowly push that back in. So slide down, push down, rotate out, and slot in just about, and then pull the head out. That's a nice head. I've only seen this in pictures. In hand, that is a nice looking head. I don't think you can see it. Let's bring it down. Yeah, that's very, very cartoon accurate, which is what you want it to be. So the articulation on it is that. The articulation on the arms are that. It doesn't really do much else. The wrists twist, as you can see. The knees don't bend. It doesn't really do much else. It just sort of sits there. Looking good, because I'm obviously super biased towards anything Generation 1. Let's bring in this guy just to show you the main differences. So, okay, these are obviously black. These are grey, as I mentioned previously about the stickers. And we've obviously got a different deco of the head. Still looks great. The gun itself is exactly the same. It's just grey rather than black. So let's pop that into his hand. You could, of course, if you wanted to, you could still have the cassette in the chest, and of course exactly like the movie where he fires them out like so. Right, let's just see what so that's of course original Generation 1 use of the mold. If I move this over a little bit, so we've had quite a few uses of this mold, to be honest. The very next one, of course, was the Takara Japanese twin cast from 87, where again same mold, different colors. Oh, my knees on this one are slightly off, and I'm paranoid he's going to fall over. And then, of course, we had, which a lot of us are now more familiar with because of the latest reissues, the shattered glass version of him. So there you go. Quite a lot of uses of this mold. And as I say, this doesn't include the standard reissues that we've had over the years as well. Right, let's move all of these out of the way just for a second and start to bring in a few other figures. So if you've got no idea how big this is, there's a Titan's Return blaster. And where's my Kingdom one gone? There it is. There's my Kingdom one. So the Kingdom one, as you can see, is very small. We are obviously getting the Studio Series 86, which will look much more like this with the Kingdom molds very, very soon. If I move this out of the way, this, I believe, if memory serves me correct, is Fans Toys Take On Blaster, so a masterpiece version, which ironically enough, the original is in fact bigger than. So there you go. Bring in a few more other figures just to give you some idea of size. That's a Takara Masterpiece Soundwave, and again the Generation 1 mould is towering over him. Now the figures I'm going to bring in now aren't for display ideas or anything like that, it's just to give you guys an idea, depending on the toy lines that you collect, an idea of his size. So of course he's going to tower over these legend scale figures. We've got Iron Factory, New Age, Magic Square, and indeed Doctor Wu. So as I said, these are going to tower well above it. This is a Takara, world's smallest Starscream, and it just about balances on his shoulders. So a very big figure, and as I say, that's because it goes back to the original origins of being a Microman Micro Change figure. Exactly that. Right, last few figures I think to bring in to give you an idea of it. We're still waiting for this. This is the Japanese, of course, version of Generation 1 Galvatron. I fully expect to see one exactly like this very soon, released in the Hasbro packaging. There is Perceptor. Now the issue I've got with Hound, with him being so tiny, is you probably won't be able to see him. No, you won't. I'm just going to bring out a few of these because I don't think they're all going to fit on screen. I'll just bring out Thundercracker, but this is to give you an idea of course, how this toy line is panning out. As soon as I get my Soundwave, which is very soon, I will do a complete collection video for you guys of them all, so you can just see how they look, and indeed I'll do a comparison video as well. But in the meantime, I'm pretty sure I've covered everything about this figure. It is, just to reiterate for the final time, it is just a reuse and a redeco of the Generation 1 original mold, but it looks great. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, guys. Take care.